Hello and welcome back, candle makers. After my last video, an introduction to candle making, where I go over some of the very basics, including terminology and even how a candle works, I wanted to go over candle wax next. So understanding candle wax for candle making. In the beginning, candle wax was mind-blowing. I didn't really know where to start. The brands, the types, it literally blew my tiny mind. In my panic, the first wax I purchased was pillar wax, and I was trying to make container candles with it. And yeah, lo and behold, it was rubbish. So lesson learned. In this video, I'll go over common waxes such as soy wax, very popular amongst us candle makers, paraffin wax, beeswax, and coconut wax. I'll explain the benefits and the negatives. I'll also go over some of the sort of popular soy wax blends I've had experience with, and the one I'm currently using that I sell all my candles with. So yeah, let's get into it. Candle wax variations. Paraffin wax, this is probably the most commonly used candle wax in the world. Massive companies use it, and some of the most well-known ones you see around are using paraffin wax. You know who I'm talking about. This wax is made by a byproduct of refined crude oil. A chemical process produces this oil petroleum byproduct. It's easily available and very cheap, which is why it's commonly used. There are some health concerns with paraffin wax due to the soot and pollution it can produce, but the pros with paraffin wax is it's got a really good scent load and a good scent throw, so it makes some of the best smelling candles you can get, which is why it's also popular. However, I think the burn time is quite quick compared to soy wax. Next up, soy wax, very popular amongst candle makers due to its values, being eco-friendly and biodegradable. It fits in with a lot of sort of modern customer avatars, and it's probably just a bit better for the planet. Due to being a natural product, it's also easier to clean up, and generally speaking, a damp cloth and a bit of elbow grease will do most of the work for you. The candle burn time with soy wax is great. It burns a lot slower than a lot of other waxes, and it sort of gives you a better bang for your buck. However, it is quite expensive. Some of the soy waxes cost a lot of money, and even some of the more premium blends can break the bank. Scent load with soy wax is pretty good. It's got a good scent retention and good cold throw. However, it doesn't hold as much as paraffin wax. It holds about 7 to 8%. Some of the blends can hold up to 12%. Next, we've got beeswax. Beeswax is a great natural alternative. It provides a great scent throw, long-lasting burn, and it also has like a natural, lovely honey smell to it. But beeswax is very expensive. Personally, I really struggled with beeswax. I love the product and I loved it, and I just wanted it to work. I just couldn't wick it properly. It was a nightmare. It would constantly tunnel, and I was worried I'd have to make such an oversized wick I'd burn someone's house down. I couldn't get the burn pull to work. It just, all of it was just a headache. I also found it really hard to pour because you have to pour it at 62 degrees, I think. So you need to wait for it to get to the right temperature and then try and pour it, and then it starts solidifying in your container. All of it was just horrible, despite me really wanting it to work. Coconut wax is up next, and it's a good eco-friendly alternative. It's got a really good scent throw. It's up there with sort of paraffin wax. It can take up to about 12%, which is really good. Coconut wax is quite expensive as well, and it doesn't perform so well without additives. Coconut wax is really easy to pour. You don't need to wait for the temperature to be like soy wax. I'm pretty sure you can just sort of chuck your scent in, give it a mix, and pour it. It does have a really low melting point. I tried using Kerax coconut wax and I had loads of issues with the candles in transport, especially in the summer last year when we had a heat wave. They just melted. People were getting my candles and they were just one solid lump of wax. Now we've covered some of the most commonly used candle wax types, let's talk about the ones I've actually used and the ones I do recommend. So for beginners, start with something like Soy Wax C3 and just play around with it. It's quite cheap. It's a good entry-level soy wax with good properties such as scent throw, hot and cold throw, and it's got really good glass adhesion. If you pour it right and at a low temperature, you get lovely smooth tops. However, I did struggle with frosting, but this isn't too much of an issue if you're beginning and you're just learning how to do it. And if you've got jars which aren't see-through like this, it doesn't really matter what the candle looks like as long as it performs well. two other brands and wax types I've had success with are Golden Wax 464, a very common wax with great properties and an amazing scent throw. I really struggle with glass adhesion and frosting. For the candles I'm using, because they're see-through glasses, they need to look perfect, and there were just a bit too many imperfections with it. And Eco Soya CB, this is quite a costly wax, but it was almost perfect and idiot-proof. If you pour it at the right temperatures, you get lovely glass adhesion, perfectly smooth tops, really good scent throw. But the problem I found with it, it just burned a bit too quickly compared to a lot of other waxes, and I think it made my sort of burn time about 40-45 hours for a candle this sort of size, and I'm trying to sell them for sort of 16-17 pounds, so I want them to be long lasting. I did use it for a bit, but on my quest to find the perfect wax, I sort of put that one to the side, but I would give it a 9 out of 10 because it was almost perfect. That led me to trying C6, as I heard coconut wax had great scent throw, and it's sort of a hybrid soy wax blend, so that would almost be the dream for me. And it made some of the best smelling candles I've ever made. They were so potently good, but I really struggled with glass adhesion and frosting. Whatever I tried, whatever temperatures I poured, I tried everything and I just couldn't get it to work. And like the Beeswax, I really wanted this one to work because the candles smelt great. So if you want to make a really good smelling candle and you're not worried about glass adhesion, go for it. C6 is really good. So if you've got those sort of amber jars or you've got concrete vessels, I recommend C6 for that, and just, yeah, have a play around with it. It's quite expensive as well. I think anything soy coconut blend is going to be about £150 for 25-26 kilos, but it's worth it. And finally, on my quest to make the best possible candle I could, I stumbled across SCX wax by Candle Shack, which is a coconut soy wax blend as well, and it has immaculate glass adhesion, and I mean perfect. Smooth tops, and if you pour it at 50 degrees, like, it just sets perfectly with a great hot and cold throw. And what's even more impressive is the burn time. It lasts for ages. This has got such a slow burn time. It took my previous waxes, which were about 45 hours, to about 60 hours. It did take me quite a long time to figure out how to wick this. I tried so many different ones, Stabilo wicks, Eco wicks, different types, different sizes, and in the end I ended up using CL14 wick for this jar, and it worked a treat, but I did try a few different variations of the CL wicks. This is the wax and the wick I use for all of the candles I sell online, and it took me quite a long time just testing to try and get the perfect product, because what I want to do is just sell the best possible candle I can do. I don't want to sell just something for the sake of making money. I want it to be good, and I want the customers to enjoy it. So it's probably taken me countless hundreds of hours to get a product that I'm really happy with, that burns well, has a good melt pull, and is safe. So just stick with it and test different waxes, and eventually you will get there. That's it. That's my overview of commonly used waxes, specifically container candles, as that's what I have the most experience with. All of my views are subjective, and it's just from my personal experience. So I'm hoping you found it helpful, and if you have, give it a like and share it. There'll be plenty more videos coming on about candle making and what I've experienced, and just trying to help people out. Because when I started, it was super hard. There's so much information out there, and you just don't know where to begin. And I think a lot of the information is people haven't really lived it, they haven't really tried it, they're just regurgitating what they've seen. So having actually tried a lot of this stuff and failing a lot, I've learned quite a lot. If I keep saying a lot, I think I'll make sense. Anyway, I'm waffling. See you later.